Coming up on Fresno State Focus, tariffs and Mexican and Canadian goods are in effect. How this could impact your shopping habits.
Plus, with grocery prices on the rise, Joseph Joyce will show you how you can keep food on the table and money in your pocket.
And the bird flu is affecting Fresno State's ag program. Fresno State Focus starts now. Hello and welcome to Fresno State Focus. I'm McKenna Deeth.
And I'm Abraham Cruz. Welcome to our first newscast of the semester.
Prices could be on the rise in the coming days, but the regulations keep changing. Yesterday, 25% tariffs went into effect for products coming in from Mexico and Canada. However, late this morning, President Trump announced a 30-day exemption on auto tariffs after talks with 3 American auto manufacturers.
They have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States.
Companies like Target are warning customers to expect prices to go up on produce and other products in their stores, as most come from Mexico. Best Buy is echoing the same message, with prices going up on electronics, with most of those coming from Mexico and China.
The cost of groceries is going up, leading to students to pay more for food and ingredients that used to be more affordable. Joseph Joyce shows us how students are dealing with this.
As students walk to their classes, they not only have to worry about getting good grades, they now have to think about how they could even afford groceries. This is due to high operating costs and the cost of materials going up, forcing farms and supermarkets to charge more for their goods. However, one product that has been affected the most recently is eggs.
I know that eggs have definitely gone up. People were saying, oh, he's going to get the eggs down to $2, $3. That has not been the case. Mine, because they're local, tend to stay around the same prices, but there are definitely some upticks there.
Due to a recent outbreak of bird flu called avian influenza, chickens are being put down in mass, causing egg prices to go up. As the price of groceries rises, students are having to pay more for essentials such as milk and eggs, with milk costing close to $5 and eggs costing close to $10. This can be tight when it comes to a student's budget, but luckily there is a place they can go on campus to get these items for free. Here at the student cupboard, students are allowed to come and get free food if they bring their Bulldog ID card.
The goal of the mission is really to address food insecurity on campus, and what that means is maybe students don't have the funds to purchase food, and so we're trying to be kind of that supplemental resource for students.
Every day, deliveries are made to the cupboard that bring with it an assortment of different grocery items and snacks. So if any students are struggling to afford groceries, the student cupboard has got you covered. At the student cupboard, Joseph Joyce, Fresno State Focus.
The cupboard is open during the school week. Students can visit each day as long as they bring their Bulldog ID card. For more information, check out Joseph's story on the Fresno State Focus website.
Bird flu concerns have Fresno State's farm tours on hold. The virus is not on campus, but it's changing the way Fresno State ag students learn right now, as Victoria Picasso shows us.
Fresno State's farm, home to a variety of livestock, is temporarily closed to the public. Ag students once led school tours, like you see here, but that's on hold right now. Vince Roos, farm operations manager, explains the safety measures put in place to prevent the bird flu virus from spreading.
Internally, we are just exercising great care. Don't allow people to touch animals other than the people that are working with the animals. Those working with the animals are aware of potential dangers.
Workers entering sensitive areas like the poultry unit must wear protective suits and sanitize their boots before entering the facility to minimize the risk of contamination.
If we were to get an infection in our poultry unit, it would mean that 20,000 birds would have to be destroyed. They'd have to be composted on site.
It's not just the farm tours that are on hold. Students are also missing out on the lab portion of their classes, further impacting their hands-on learning experience.
Due to the whole bird flu right now and the whole poultry unit, we can't really use that lab, so it's closed. So now it's just more lecture based, and I'm a type of person who needs to do hands-on work to like really understand what I'm learning, and we can't do that. So now I'm just struggling in that class.
At the Fresno State Farm, Victoria Picasso, Fresno State Focus.
There is no set date for when the farm tours will resume. However, Fresno State officials are monitoring the situation closely and will update students as conditions change. Oftentimes, the busy schedule of college students can result in a lack of care for mental health. Alexis Bruno is here with an expert to share how you can be more aware of the signs of suicide.
Earlier today, the Fresno State Health and Counseling Center held a free Question, Persuade, and Prefer, which is QPR, training for Fresno State students and staff. This training is meant to help students and staff recognize and respond to suicide warnings. If you missed the training, I have mental health educator Danielle Mendoza here to tell us more. Thank you so much for coming, Danielle.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So you had a super busy morning. Yeah. You went to the QPR training.
Yes.
For those who didn't go, can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, so it's actually a nationally recognized suicide prevention training. You get a certificate for attending, and the whole purpose is students and faculty and staff get to learn like the different verbal warning signs, the different behavior ones, situational ones of someone who may be struggling with their mental health, who may be experiencing some suicidal ideation. They get to learn how to ask that question if they are feeling suicidal, and then after that, how to support and then hopefully get them help that they're needing. So it's being that middle tool of, hey, I'm seeing my loved ones suffering. Here's how I can ask that question, and here's the help I can give them.
You talked a little bit about there being some signs.
Yes.
What are those signs that people can look out for?
Some signs can be some verbal ones, like saying, I just want to go to sleep and never wake up. I just want out. I just can't do this anymore. Some behavioral ones, which can include any drastic change in behavior, but some can be maybe just being more reckless, maybe they're more moody, you can see they're more depressed, maybe there's some like sudden interest or disinterest in religion, any drastic change really. Some situational ones could be a big change in life, any big life transition, maybe like graduating from school. It could be going from student to professional. It could be losing a loved one of any kind or of any sort of major relationship, or breakup, death, anything like that. Those are some of the few people can watch out for.
And wrapping back up to the QPR training, is there any more trainings coming up that students can possibly attend?
Yes, there's going to be one on April 3rd. It'll be 10:30 to 12 at RSU 206. And also anyone on campus can actually request a QPR through our website. So there's a link on that where it says, request presentation. You can always request one at any time.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes. Back to you guys at the desk.
Today is Ash Wednesday, which marks the start of Lent. Services are underway around the world and ended earlier this afternoon here on campus. Ash Wednesday is recognized by Catholics as a day of fasting and repentance. Those who observe are marked with ashes on their forehead. Those ashes are meant to symbolize mercy and redemption. Catholics around the world are still praying for the recovery of their leader, Pope Francis. The 88-year-old Pope is battling double pneumonia but is doing okay today. However, he is still in the hospital on a non-invasive ventilator. That's the kind that goes over his mouth, not down his throat. In Rome, Cardinal Angelo De Donatis delivered a special Ash Wednesday reflection written by the Pope. The Pope's message to Catholics: death is a reality and something we have to reckon with. This is the second time Pope Francis has missed the Ash Wednesday service. The last time he missed the start of Lent was in 2022 because of knee problems.
The Fresno State Art Gallery is featuring 2 new graduate artists this week. Eduardo Reveles and Eduardo Fabian brought their visions to life at the Phoebe Conley Art Gallery. The art showed a display of ceramics that bring to light agriculture and farm workers. Each piece had small details from butterflies to faces engraved in the material. A former art instructor of Eduardo explained how the art gallery made him feel.
Working with the sculpture and his paintings, he absolutely thought about the entire space. So we can get lost kind of painting things in our studio and think they look good, but we have to consider the space.
Ceramic pieces aren't the only works to see here. They also have motion pieces and soft Spanish music playing throughout. The art you see here will be displayed free of charge for students at the Phoebe Conley Art Gallery at Fresno State until March 13th.
Coming up, the internet you've come to know could be changing. I'll have the insight on the next generation of the web.
And during this semester, students could all use a helping hand.
At Fresno
Elizabeth
State,
Andres
being bold
Aguilar-
means committing to something greater than yourself. It's learning by doing and nurturing leaders to advance our shared future. It's using research to create a better life for those around us and healing those who need us most. These are our stories, because at Fresno State, bold begins here.
Success. At Fresno State, it's no secret. It's discovering new ways to change our world. It's creating opportunities as diverse as our community itself. It's in the distinction of our graduates as they lead us into the future. Success is no secret at Fresno State. It's our mission.
I'm Valentina Saldaña, and this is your Focus on Weather. Starting off with a look from Fresno State campus, this is above the Peters Business Building. As you can see, there's a huge overcast of clouds with some showers coming down. So if you're headed to campus, make sure to grab that umbrella and raincoat because you will be needing it today. But now let's take a closer look at our national satellite. The East and the West Coast are competing for who could get the most rain. Currently, the East Coast is winning. They have a little bit more storms, but let's take a closer look at the West Coast. So the West Coast is currently have a dynamic set of storms. They're starting off in the Central Coast, making its way down to the Southern California area. So we are receiving the early part of the rain, but Los Angeles County should be receiving it sometime today. If not, they're already getting some right now. As for our highs today, we are looking at 50 in Fresno, 50 in Madera, 52 in Merced, cannot forget about Coalinga at 53, and Shaver Lake at 34. So Shaver Lake is actually clocking in at 16 for tomorrow's low, and they are getting a bit of snow right now. 39 in Fresno, 37 in Madera, and 29 in Mariposa. Our air quality is looking good across the board, and that is thanks to the rain that is able to clear that up for us here in the Central Valley. As for our extended outlook, it is looking a bit rainy with 55 tomorrow, partly cloudy with some sun peeking in on Friday. Saturday and Sunday, it is looking sunny, and it is daylight saving time, so make sure to set that clock ahead 1 hour as we spring forward into the year. For the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday time, it is looking a bit cloudy and rainy, so those temperatures will be clocking in the 60s and 50s. So depending on what the sky is looking like, make sure to dress accordingly. And for now, that was your Focus on Weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
The California State University system has announced an official private AI initiative. The plan aims to ensure that both students and staff are able to keep up with the rapidly changing educational guidelines of California. CSU representatives will also join tech companies and Governor Gavin Newsom's office as part of the AI Workforce Acceleration Board. The CSU will also work to deploy ChatGPT EDU, a version of the popular AI that has specific tools for educational institutions.
The internet is evolving, and the next generation of the internet, known as Web 3, is on the rise. Experts say this shift will change the way we interact online, bringing more security, ownership, and opportunities. Here's more on why understanding Web 3 could be the key to the future.
From social media to online shopping, the internet is part of daily life. And now with artificial intelligence software, there's a new version of the internet. It's called Web 3, and it could transform how we connect and control our digital world.
It is now being integrated into softwares that we know as of like Apple. It is now in Android. It is now being utilized in Chinese technology. It is now a race to obtain and utilize this technology in different forms.
With AI driving Web 3, it's designed to make online interactions smarter, safer, and more personalized.
I think it starts with my generation. What we do, what we decide to change, what we decide to develop, is going to change the trajectory of the entire world, I think.
It sounds like it could kickstart within the next couple of years, if it is a legitimate web browser.
And if you're still feeling confused, you just want a quick definition on Web 3, well, we have a friend of ours
on our phone at the moment, even prior to Web3, that could give us a definition. Now, hey Siri, what is Web3?
Here's an answer from Bulletin.com
Boom.
and Wikipedia.
You get an answer just like that, and the next generation of the internet is going to be AI advanced, AI technology, AIs ready to answer your questions.
For more info on Web3, ask Siri some more questions or AI itself on what the next generation of the internet is set to offer. In Fresno, Abraham Cruz, Fresno State Focus.
Exciting changes are ahead as Web3 continues to develop. As experts suggest, staying informed could give students a competitive edge in the digital world.
As the spring semester is moving along and students are finding their groove in their classes, some are realizing they might need an extra help with a class or two. I show you some resources here on campus that provide support for students.
Students walk in and out of the Fresno State Library every day and may not know a hidden gem in the basement. Here you'll find the Learning Center. Open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., the center provides 3 main resources for students.
Starting with tutoring, where we offer support for over 600 courses, which is very awesome, I would say.
Other services are supplemental instruction that provides extra support for more challenging classes, academic success coaching, where students can talk to a coach about any campus resources they can use.
It goes to show that these students really do appreciate the help.
So much so that Ariana has seen students become regulars.
And they feel comfortable here, which is what we strive to provide for our students, a place where they feel comfortable to come seek help, whether it's with their assignments, campus resources, or just having a community where they feel comfortable studying and asking questions.
And you can schedule for your tutoring session online. Go to the Fresno State Learning Center website, click the tutoring section, then look at the different tutors that they provide, find one that works for your class and your schedule, confirm a time and date you want to meet with them, and you're all set. Avery Ramirez, a chemistry tutor, describes what a session may look like with her.
And it usually starts by me just asking what do you need? What's your best process of learning? Do you do best with example questions or just explanations? So it's really just catered to however you need to be tutored.
The idea of catering sessions towards students and connecting with them is something that drives Lene Sims, a math tutor.
That's one of the pillars of our job actually. It's whenever a student comes, it's we try to remember their first name, we try to remember the professor, we try to remember whatever class they're taking.
You could say this is a very student-centered program, helping us elevate our education and finding connections at the same time.
The Learning Center is hosting an open house for the newly remodeled space. It's next Thursday, March 13th from 11 to 1. They'll have free food, raffles, and much more. Back to you guys.
Fresno libraries are becoming targets for potential book bans. This follows a nationwide trend that has affected more than 1,000 books last year.
Nathan Ortiz is Science 2 building to get more insight on the potential book bans and how student researcher is involved. Nathan?
Hi, everybody. Today I'm joined by Andy Villarreal. Hi, Andy. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Andy's a master's student here at Fresno State studying psychology. Andy, could you tell us a little bit about your research on the current book bans?
Yeah, so my research looks at the implications of local book censorship happening in Fresno County, specifically on LGBTQ plus parents, examining mental health changes, any depression, anxiety, as well as advocacy efforts and awareness of this piece of legislation.
That's really interesting. I feel that, book bans have happened historically throughout the world. We have seen the effects that they've had in countries such as Chile, Germany, and now potentially here. How do you hope your research helps people become more aware on this current situation?
Yeah, I think it's important to showcase local perspectives as well as this type of demographic, which is parents who are queer, to really kind of showcase what's happening locally and the implications that's happening, as well as adding to academic conversations because this is happening nationwide.
Yeah, and as you did mention, it is happening throughout the country and it's happening a lot through here. So how do you hope, you can reach more people in our neighborhoods?
Just really getting out there, recruiting, putting up flyers, posting on organizations, and with Nathan Ortiz's help as well.
Yeah, of course. So as Andy did mention, he has flyers out there that will be available on my on our article that we have for our website after, so on Fresno State Focus. But yeah, thank you so much, Andy, for your time, and thank you for your insight on this current issue. Live from the Science 2 building, Nathan Ortiz, Fresno State Focus.
Coming up in sports, the men's basketball team finally won. Yay! We'll take you to their final home game of the season.
But the Diamond Dogs fall at home to Cal Poly. Stay tuned for sports with Rolling Forward.
I got the Bulldog spirit up in my head. Up in my head. Up in my head.
I got that Bulldog spirit up in my head. Up in my head to say. Deep in my heart, got that Bulldog spirit. Deep in my heart, deep in my heart to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit. Down in my toes, down in my toes, down in my toes. I got that Bulldog spirit. Down in my toes, hey, down in my toes to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit. Up in my head, deep in my heart, down in my toes. I got that Bulldog spirit. All over me to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit.
Deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart, deep in my heart. I got that Bulldog.
I'm rolling forward with your focus on sports. The Fresno State Bulldogs hosted their final home game last night against Wyoming. Elijah Price led the way for Fresno State with 16 points along with 15 boards. Zayon Collins and Alex Crawford scored 15 points each. The Cowboys' paint scoring kept them alive down the stretch. But the Bulldogs lived at the line, getting 20 points from free throws. The Dogs got the win 62-58, and they will play their final game of the season at San Jose State. Fresno State women's basketball on the road last night against San Diego State. Mia Jacobs and Kylie Fox were in the double figures with 17 points scored. But Fresno State ultimately fell to San Diego State 75-61 down south. The Lady Dogs play in the Mountain West tournament next week in Las Vegas. Last night, the Fresno State baseball team lost to Cal Poly 7-3 at home. The Mustangs started scoring in the second inning with a run batted in and held the Dogs off until the fourth inning with a couple of RBIs from number 15, Murph Gray, and number 32, Jacob Papas. That was not enough for the Dogs. They gave up more runs throughout the night and were only able to take one back run with solo homer from Sky Collins. That was his first one as a Bulldog. The next game is Friday in Fort Worth, Texas against TCU. Fresno State football and new head coach Matt Entz starting spring ball this Friday, March 7th. This spring preview is set for April 5th, which is the 15th practice. If you want to see what the Dogs will look like in the fall, come and watch. One of the most exciting things about spring football is that we get to see who will be our next QB1. It will be exciting to see all positions compete for a starting role for this upcoming season. Keep an eye out for number 71. Student athletes work hard on and off the field and constantly have to make sure that they stay on top of their academic needs. I'm one of those students, and I'm on the football team. Here, I'll give you a closer look at everything we're involved in that most people don't see. A big question for student athletes is, how do you do it? Well, the answer to that is the guidance and motivation of our advisors who help us stay on top of our academic success. Kevin Bodle is one of our advisors here at Fresno State. A part of his job is to help us make a plan and to be successful in the classroom and earn our degree.
If the students don't know what they want to do for their degree, then a big goal for us is helping them figure out what it is they want to do and then connect them with the resources that they need to succeed.
Some of those resources may be a tutor or mentor who can work with the athlete's busy schedule.
Whenever I need help with an assignment or anything, I can easily go to one of my academic advisors to get help if I don't understand something.
That goes for all athletes in all grades and all majors. Freshmen, like Jaya Jones, automatically have more study hall hours because they know how hard this transition is.
Definitely, when I first came into here, transitioning from high school to college, I was behind on a lot of my work, and having tutors or advisors to help me and guide me through my academic life definitely helped me stay on top of everything.
I'm here at the Fresno State Student Athlete Academic Center, and this is where student athletes come to get majority of their work done. This is where they come to meet with their advisors. This is where they come to stay on top of their academic success.
So our academic center provides tutoring, mentors. Our advisors also meet with our freshmen, some of the students that are at risk on a weekly basis. As student athlete development, I help our students get prepared for life after the sport, life after graduation. So putting them in contact with campus resources, getting them plugged into the community, help find internships and help them apply to grad school.
Some of our students have gone to grad school thanks to our advisors and the student athlete development. Rolling forward, Fresno State Focus. And that's your Focus on Sports.
Fresno State is home to one of only 24 D1 collegiate equestrian teams in the country. And while the riders and the horses might get all the glory, there's a whole team of students in the stables. Over at the quarter horse unit, a team of students help get Fresno State's most unique athletes ready for competition. These are some of Fresno State's most unique athletes, and they have it pretty good as members of Fresno State's equestrian team. And these mares are actually creating the next generation of equestrian athletes that will be raised by Fresno State's equestrian employees. Today, it's a beautiful day at the quarter horse unit. I'm here with Kalua, who is one of the 2024 babies, along with Cash and Crisp in the back. Kate is a part of the Fresno State rodeo team and a paid staff member, responsible for feeding, cleaning, and helping with breeding.
I'm head of breeding and reproduction here. We currently have 5 mares that are about to foal out this year.
The staff is also in charge of grooming the horses before they go out and ride and putting them back in the stalls afterwards.
I'm the head trainer here at Fresno State, and this is our stud Virgil, aka a cat under the hat, and he's currently open for the 2025 breeding season.
Here, Virgil and Kate begin their daily warm-up before their next rodeo at Cal Poly. Kate keeps Virgil in the best shape possible, ensuring he's ready to compete wherever the team takes him. But the horses aren't the only ones that can do tricks, so can the employees.
I'm head of events and social media here at the horse unit. My biggest project this year has been working on the website. Go check it out at Fresno State Equine.
And that's where you can learn more about the Fresno State equestrian team and its staff, one of just 24 D1 collegiate equestrian teams in the country. If you're looking for an excuse to get some gas station snacks, well, you've got one. It's Cheese Doodle Day.
Cheese doodles are what people on the East Coast call these cheesy, salty snacks. They're also called cheese puffs, cheese curls, or even corn curls. They were created over 75 years ago and have since helped create companies like Cheetos and Wise's Cheese Doodles. Whether eaten in their puffiest form, their crunchiest, or their spiciest, they found themselves in the hearts and on the fingertips of snack lovers everywhere. Now, McKenna, I got hot Cheetos extra. This is the sauce I've written all over it. What you got over there?
I have the cheddar jalapeno ones, classic flavor when I was a kid, super yummy. They won't leave your hands red.
And that's it. Next week on Fresno State Focus, we will go over the effect that soda can have on your body, where you might be surprised to discover how much sugar you are consuming.
We'll show you some resources that are available on campus for undocumented students.
And find out how these new parking permits are supposed to help you, even though a lot of students are saying it's a pain.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.